Well, I know what you're thinking. It's about fucking time, man. About time you got back to this. Well, yeah, I got some good news for you. This model is fucking done. Alright, yeah. So, let's get right to it, huh? Alright, so last time I left you with a bit of a teaser with the bottom saucer Aztecs. I could only do 2 panels at a time, well, 2 pie sections at a time, I should say, because the masks would overlap onto the next panel, and I didn't like that. But, you know, I could have just cut it. You know, I could have just cut the masks instead of, you know, doing 2 at a time and taking my sweet ass time. I thought of that later on. I did them on the top saucer at least. So, yeah, that was good there. Anyway, so the following shots are just, you know, slow progress of me doing the Aztecs all the way around, and eventually getting around to putting the little green, red, and gold little squares and rectangles all over the Aztecs to give it that lovely paneled look. So here's the bottom saucer Aztecs, all painted up, looking lovely. I love it. It looks great to me. I couldn't resist. I had to do a light test and see how the spotlights looked on the Aztecs. It doesn't make them turn a different color, but you can certainly notice them. Here are just a few more shots of me trying to get the pearl shimmering effect with my single lamp I have above me. I can't quite get it. It's a lot better in person, I find. Like, again, the camera only has one line of sight. We have 2 eyes. We have a bit of depth perception, so it helps to get that shimmering effect from our eyes than on a camera, but I'm doing my best here. Anyway, so I put the decals on the bottom. I did them now. I didn't want to wait till the end to do them because I didn't want to have the roll bar attached on the top, and I didn't want the paint on the top to get scratched with the model upside down putting on the Aztec. So I did the decals on the bottom now. Looks pretty good. I must say though, those 2 pinstripes, well, the 4 pinstripes going around the edge, those were fucking hard to do. Holy crap. So on to the pylons. I did both the inner and outer pylons at the same time. I was hoping to do the pylons and the nacelles at the same time, but it was a little bit too hectic having all the different masks that didn't quite match up. It's probably my fault I didn't put them on right, but anyway. So here you can see the final result of all the different panels on there. I did all 4 colors. I didn't want to show every single step of the way because that would have been long, but I did that with the nacelles. So yeah, with the nacelles, now these were interesting to actually put these masks on because the masks are flat and this is a curved surface. So I had a lot of fun trying to figure this out. Like, look at this one underneath. It was really interesting trying to put that on. The way I did it is I actually curled it over the bottom, and I sort of started peeling it curved. Like I sort of made like a U shape with the transfer tape, and I just rolled it back, and it seemed to have done a good job. So yeah, it went on relatively smoothly. But of course they didn't quite match up. I think these were meant to go section by section. I did them all in one shot. I was rushed, so I had to put little correction masking tape around there to make sure there was no like line of just blue Aztec paint or all the Aztec paint on that specific line. So yeah, first I had to do blue, then I had to do red, green, and then I finished off with gold. I finished off with gold because I had that sort of candy cane pinstripe brick effect at the back. It's really weird looking, but it looks pretty cool in the end. So these shots you see are masking, remove some masks, paint the blue, mask again, remove some masks, paint the red, mask again, remove some masks, paint the green, mask again, remove some masks, paint the gold, and finally remove all the masks. Look at all these fucking masks. Look at it. What the fuck, man? Oh, this is driving me nuts. The effect came out okay, actually. It didn't come out amazing for me. I was actually hoping they'd show a bit more. I guess I was a little too stingy with the paint, but also the camera isn't quite picking them up as well. In person, you could really see them more. So next up was the top of the saucer. I was done with the bottom of the ship. Now here's where I can start flying. The top of the saucer, easy to do, relatively, compared to the rest anyway. So the top here we have this sort of grid line pattern similar to what was on the roll bar. That is supposed to be, for me anyway, it was just pearl blue, and I do the rest of the squares that go on top, all the varying colors. So here you can see the grid line, I don't know what else to call it, of blue on there, and it looks pretty good. So The orbital dry dock masks come with an extra mask to go on top to do little squares. So once again, remove some masks, paint on my gold, remask again, remove the other masks, put on some red, cover those masks again, pull off the green masks, and then paint the green. Long process, but it would be so much longer if you were doing this by hand. Like if you were cutting these masks by hand, I would be like, I don't know about you, but I would be doing this until next year. And frankly, I don't have that much fucking time to waste. I got a fuck ton of models to work on. Yeah. Why would I have that many fucking models? Anyway, so here you can see the effect. Looks pretty cool. Well, in this shot you see the flip colors, and here you can see the pearl colors. It looks pretty cool to me. Awesome. So next up, I installed the switch. It's a pretty basic switch, but it went in pretty well. Then it was on to the front of the top saucer. Here we go. Almost at the end. Here I'm just going to paint the inner circle of the saucer and the outer rim at the same time. I didn't show all the shots in between, but here's the final effect of the red, blue, green, gold effect. Looks pretty nice in the center, and on the rim too. It comes out pretty well. So, we're here. We're finally here. Aztecs on the top saucer. The last bit of Aztec painting I have to do. So first things up, let's mask off all that area I just painted, and let's apply some masks. So here you can see one pie section done. Pretty good. And here you can see 10 of them done. Ho ho, nice and fast. And next up, I sprayed it with some pearl blue. Came up pretty well. Now, on the bottom saucer, I cut out little frisket paper squares and rectangles to do all those little panels. I wanted something a little bit more ordered on the top. I want to try something different. I'm not sure if this was a mistake or not, but the orbital dry dock mask came with 4 extra sets of Aztec masks for the top saucer. So I used those. I cut out a template on frisket paper, and I used those masks as guides as to where I should put the squares and rectangles. And the effect came, well, the result is pretty cool. So first I did the gold, and you can see little gold rectangles and squares there. It looks pretty cool to me. Then next up I did the red and the greens, and it worked pretty well. And once I was done with the green, it suddenly hit me. I don't have to paint any more pearl colors. I'm done painting the pearl colors. Woohoo! So the only thing I had left to paint were the yellow phaser banks, and I did those. And they came out well. And painting is done. The painting was done. I was so excited at this point because all that was left was some decals, some window filling, and attach that roll bar, and I'd be done. Oh, but I'm ahead of myself. Look at all these nice shots of the Aztecs. I love it. I'm just going to let you see these. So here I'm trying to get a video of the pearl effect. I'm just moving my camera along the bottom part of the saucer, and it actually worked pretty well. This is just using daylight through my window, and it comes up pretty nice. Yeah. So, on to the decals. First up were the nacelles. I did the little chevron on the pylons, came up pretty well. I did the registry on the nacelles, that too came up pretty well. I sort of centered it with the light as best I could, and the effect is nice. Yeah. I think I planned it out pretty well, actually, if I do say so myself. So, next up were the back of the pylons. I put on these little blue lines that go in the back. I suppose it's to simulate actual grooves that are in the studio model, but the AMT decided not to put those in. I put the decals on the back. The shuttle bays had 1 and 2 because, you know, I guess the pilots would get confused. Next were these pinstripes. Holy crap, these were fucking hard to do. Over the shuttle bay trenches, wow, I must have wasted 2 hours trying to get those on nice and perfect. So added the access port decal onto the side of the saucer. I didn't want to use the photo etch part, mainly because I was too lazy, and yeah, that's the only reason. I was too fucking lazy. I used the decal instead. Looks okay to me. I put the little chevron on the, I don't know what to fucking call them, that little bump on the top of the saucer. The little pinstripes, those were easy to do. Then I did a pinstripe around the bridge. That took forever to do. It comes in 2 pieces, but it ended up being 20 pieces because, well, I guess I suck at putting those little thin pinstripe decals. Anyway, that was done. Onto the roll bar. I attached it. Didn't quite fit very well. Man, that thing was stretching and cracking and oh, such a pain in the butt to do. But I did it. I wasn't going to let this beat me. I got it attached. I filled in my little gaps with some white tulip. Works pretty well. And yeah, here's a little video of I guess me trying to capture the pearl effect with the roll bar on. I was a little excited because the model was almost done. The roll bar's on, yeah. And I filled in some of the windows. Came out pretty well. So much work. Almost there though. Almost there. I can do it. I can do it. So next up were these tiny little squares that go all over the top of the saucer. I thought I would have a really hard time putting them on, but they were actually pretty easy to do. Then the sensor band that went along the edge of the saucer. Now this sensor band was a separate decal set I got from JT Graphics for the 1537 motion picture sensor band decals. I was a little worried they'd be too thick for the rim. I was a little worried it would be matched more for the re-release of the Reliant, but it worked pretty well. And I was actually pretty nervous that they wouldn't go on perfect either, but they went on pretty easily, a lot easier than the other ones from JT Graphics. I guess mainly because they're bigger. The bigger the decal, the easier, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so I decided to take some shots in the dark, right? With the lights on, of course. The lights of the model, that is. The roll bar torpedo launchers are a little dim because I filled it with some crystal clear and they were just drying. But the lights, pretty cool effect. It came out pretty well. Look at that. Alright, this is it. The last couple of decals. There's the name. Looks good. I centered it as well as I could. There's the registry. That gave me a bit of problems, but came out a little bit wrinkly, I think, on the end, but other than that, not bad. Then the pinstripes, and this model is done. Done. Absolutely finished. Absolutely finished. I'm so fucking happy I got this done. This took me forever. Anyway, here's a shot to show the running lights working. Look pretty cool in my opinion. I don't know about you guys. And here I actually managed to get the camera to get the Aztecs to show right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour. So here you can see the Aztecs come up pretty well. You can see how the decal film actually shows pretty well in that light, but only in certain angles. Roll bar looks fantastic on there. Look at that. That shining chevron. Gotta love it. Pinstriping, amazing on it. Brings out the decal, makes everything pop. Nacelles, now you can see the pearl effect in this light. Looks pretty cool. Look at that. The camera actually focused on the registry too. Look at this. You can see it through the Raytheon lighting. There's the registry. Looks beautiful. You can see the nacelles on the other side. You can see the pylon spotlights. You can see the red little crystal on the engine. And here it is, a nice beauty shot from the front and underneath. Look at that. Look at those spotlights. I love those spotlights. This has got to be my favorite view of the ship, aside from the top of the registry, right? This has got to be my second favorite view. I can't get enough of this shot. It just looks so good to me. And you can see those lovely pinstripe lines, the sensor bands around the edge, and beautiful. Can't get enough of this. Beautiful. So this model is done. Yay! Alright. Look at that. One more shot. You can see the spotlight in the front, how well it shines that registry. And I'm done. I'm done with this. I never want to do a Reliant again. I don't care how much someone would pay me. Never again. I thought this was going to be easy. It wasn't. Oh, I hope I don't make the same mistake with my next project. Speaking of which, my next project. Initially, I want to do the Kronos 1. Here's a nice studio model pic of the Kronos 1 from Star Trek 6. Now, as some of you know, this is a modified Katanga with some nice brass or gold trim, a whole bunch of different modifications to the nacelles and all over the ship. Looks fantastic. And I have the AMT kit that shows Star Trek 6, the undiscovered country. Not quite it. It's just a rehash of the Katanga from the motion picture from Star Trek 1. And even that was inaccurate, so this one's even more fucking inaccurate. So this took me a couple years to do, but I managed to acquire all the replacement parts I need for this. I got the brass parts, as you can see here, for the trim and for the windows. I have all of the JT Graphics resin parts. This was expensive. Unbelievably expensive. And I'm in Canada, so the shipping here is actually a little bit higher, at least for the stuff from Warm Plastics. And yeah, this was technically my most expensive model in my collection. I was thinking of doing this next, but seeing as how this Reliant took me so long to do, I want a project that's a little bit easier to do. Don't worry, I will do the Kronos 1 eventually. I don't see many people do it, and I understand why, because it's a shit ton of modification and super expensive. But yeah, my next model, the Enterprise C. Yep, the Enterprise C, and this is the re-release, so it's not clear. Gotta drill all those windows. All those lovely windows. Ooh, I can't wait! I didn't get enough of that from the little Enterprise D I made. But yeah. That's it. It's going to be Enterprise C. So I'm going to make another video on the Reliant, a finale video. I'll probably just do a slideshow with no voiceover. I'll put some music. I guess you guys are tired of hearing me talk and swear and whatever the fuck else. So it's just going to be a simple slideshow. That'll be it. But the next video of me doing a little narration will be on the Enterprise C. And so yeah. So thank you for following me along of turning this AMT pile of shat into the lovely Reliant. Thank you for watching.